All right, good evening. My name is Anthony Helms. I am the Interim Assistant Dean of the Lee Honors College, and I'm here to share this Western Wednesday with you, safe in quarantine in my home. We got some lovely wedding pictures behind me in case you're curious about my personal life. But anyway, I'm here to talk about the Honors College. Very excited to do this with you. I've been able to do most of the recruitment for us for the past 7 years. I was an Honors College student, and I graduated from Western twice. And so I'm happy to kind of talk all things WMU, but again, specifically to answer any questions you have about what honors education looks like at Western Michigan University. One of the things that you should be doing, and I hope you are doing, is that you're asking what honors education looks like on campuses as much as you're asking what it looks like between campuses for how to get the most out of your college experience. One of the things you'll hear me say often, and something that we really try to impose upon you as a new student, is that we want you to view college as the last opportunity that the world's going to give you just to selfishly invest in yourself, to do the hard work inside and outside the classroom to make sure that when you graduate from Western 4 years from now, that you are prepared to achieve the goals that you want to in society, but more importantly, that you did the hard work to identify the right goals for yourself. And that requires, again, a holistic approach, which we try to embrace in the college. You'll never hear me say that we have all the smart students at Western. We don't. Western has tons of smart students, but we do have the more engaged students at Western. Our students are coming to Western for the right reasons, just to get the most out of that college experience and become well-rounded people. So I've got 4 basic themes. Let's just talk about the structure of tonight. 4 basic themes of what I'd like to talk to you about, but I am open and willing to stop at any time to answer any questions you have. It looks like there's almost 60 people with us right now. You can open up the Q&A and toss questions into the Q&A section at the bottom of your Zoom window. Once I see them, I'll repeat them and I'll start answering them as we go through. So please toss those out at any time. There's not a bad time to toss a question out for us. When I did the Western Wednesday in November, I believe, for the first time, we did questions the entire time, and it was had a really good back and forth. So please toss the questions in the Q&A. The 4 themes I'm going to talk about, unless you give me questions, are what honors looks like in the classroom, what it looks like outside the classroom, what research really looks like and what that honors thesis is all about. And then finally, as a graduate, what are you going to do with this? How does this distinguish you? How you need to be building that argument early. Alexis, thanks for the first question. How does the Honors College maintain a balance, challenging students while not overwhelming them? Are there checks and balances on workload? 100%. I can't stress that enough. If you look at all of our materials over the past couple of years, you'll see a consistent, concerted effort on encouraging grit and resiliency in our students. If you expect to come to college and not struggle, honestly, if you came to college and didn't struggle, you should be extremely upset with us in 4 years and with yourself in 4 years for not struggling a little bit. But the point is that we stretch ourselves, we grow with each other. Again, we selfishly invest in that growth pattern. But one of the things we'll really talk to you a lot about from student services side is making sure that the commitments you make in college, and this goes to your balances for the workload, Alexis, the commitments you make in college are either feeding your path or feeding your passion. And what I mean by that is that you want to be able to achieve some of those personal goals and still maintain those commitments that you've established over the first 17, 18, 19 years of your life, and respect those values in the community. But at the same time, we want to make sure that you're not overwhelming yourself and trying to do all things at the same time. So we'd like you at about 15 credits. That's full time. Academically, that is actually your sweet spot. You do really well at 15 credits. So we're going to continue to push you to do that. One of the other things that I'd like to talk about is honors in the classroom, which I said was going to be my first kind of venture here. But Alexis, your question really speaks to that. One of the things that differentiates us, and this is specifically talking about honors inside the classroom, is that we do not do honors by contract. And what honors by contract means is it is workload. It's only workload. And so honors by contract, you walk into a room, first day of class, Professor says, okay, are you honors? Are you not honors? You say, yep, I'm an honors student. And then they give you a special syllabus that has an extra research paper or maybe a longer research paper attached to it, and basically just makes you sweat more for honors credit. We don't do that. The Honors College of Western Michigan does not do honors by contract for the reason that we don't want you to sweat more. We want you to learn more. We want to provide you with a robust environment in the classroom where you have a professor that either we recruited or they recruited us for the opportunity to teach you. You aren't going to come in there and say, hey, I just taught this class down the hall, but I added a research assignment to make this honors. Nope. We cap all of our classes at 25 or fewer students. That allows our faculty to be much more discussion and debate focused. They know your name. These are where your best letters of recommendation are going to come out of as your honor sections. So no, you're not just going to sweat more in our classes. That's the opposite of what we want. So that's kind of a long-winded answer, Alexis, but yes, one of the best things we do is provide a check to that overload, especially that first year. You work with our advising staff to help manage your stuff, both again inside and outside the classroom, because we view that workload not just as your class workload, but obviously all the commitments that you're going to make as a Bronco, as an honors Bronco. As an honors student, you're twice as likely to hold a leadership position or hold multiple officer positions in different student organizations. So we'll often come back to you and say, again, I know you're having a blast. I know you're being productive. I know a lot of people find value in the work that you offer, but do all these commitments. Again, are they feeding your path, your passion? And if not, let's talk about how to move on from there. Got a couple anonymous ones in here, so sorry for not giving you credit. Is there a benefit to living on campus? Great question. We got tired of telling you all a couple years ago to choose between living with us, and by us I mean in one of the honors living learning communities, or living with your major. Right? You have your major living learning communities that go off academic interest. There's also some social interest ones, sustainability, that kind of thing that you can self-select for. My background is academic advising, so I'm going to tell you, as the academic side of the house, I want you in a living learning community your first year on campus, mainly because your GPAs are going to be higher. We have lots of data to prove that out. We can pump the university, we can pump a lot of support resources into those living learning communities that are very related to your field and to the classes you're taking. And so I really push for that your first year. That said, a lot of students move off after their second year. The Honors College will never tell you where to live, but I'll give you kind of three main options you have as a new student coming in next year for Res Life. This is at least the three most common scenarios I get working in the Honors College. Do I live in the Honors Learning Community? Okay, so Honors Learning Community is right next to Valley Dining Center. We usually get 6 out of 7 of the floors, sometimes the whole building. We have a couple STEM floors in there to self-select the STEM students out in the learning community. So it's a nice, convenient location. It's right by the Valley Dining Center, and we're going to be able to have an honors resident assistant that works with you, as well as an honors learning community assistant that helps set up programming and, again, pipes in some of those resources. That's going to be an interdisciplinary unit, right? We have strong, one of my favorite things about the Honors College, actually, is that we have a strong representation from every major and minor on campus. There's nobody that doesn't work with our academic program. So we have a diverse group of students. It's a lot of fun to work with you all. So that'd be a benefit, to living in the honors learning community. We also have special honors pods, honors sections within the business, pre-med, and engineering learning communities. And so that way you can still be there with your academic college, still get all those very major specific resources pumped in, but at the same time be able to live in a pod just of honor students that are engaged in that major. So not as interdisciplinary, right? Because you're going to be in there with like-minded students from your same academic college, but again, you're going to have that ability to self-select out in the honors area. Honors does require I believe it's a 10 p.m. quiet hours. It's not camp. Nobody's going to come around and turn your lights off, but you can't be blasting music and stuff after 10 o'clock so people can get the studying done, at least throughout the week. And then finally, I get lots of questions about Western Heights from first-year students. It's a first-year only dorm. That res hall is our nicest and newest res hall on campus as of this spring. So get lots of questions about living there. It's a great location. You're right up there on top of the main campus, so you can it's a really close walk to your to your classes unless you're in engineering. And again, you want to think about the learning community for engineers at that point. But lots of people like Western Heights. It's a beautiful res hall. Whenever my son and I go to basketball and football games at Western, he always points to that and says that's where he's going to go. But again, those are the three main options I get. Is there a benefit to living on campus? Absolutely. You're closest, you're more involved, you get more engaged as a student. If you academically, especially your first year, you do better, you're more successful, and you're happier if you live on campus. So I really want to push that for the first year. But again, I'm not going to tell you what that looks like for you specifically at Western, because you do have options. Honors first orientation and regular orientation. Okay, so what are the differences? Again, this is another anonymous one. So honors first orientation and regular summer orientation are going to look very different this year due to the COVID-19 outbreak. So some of these decisions are being made as we speak right now about what orientation looks like. So I'm going to reserve that part of the conversation for our excellent first year experience, my colleagues there to work out what orientation looks like for us this year, because I know there's some changes coming due to the COVID. Honors first is if you are a medallion competitor. Honors first allows you to register for classes in May, and we have at least one more week of sign up. I think sign up ends at April 17. If you're eligible for that program, you're going to get a second email this week to either let you know that you have signed up and that you are going to be moving to a virtual appointment, or that you haven't signed up yet, but we'd love for you to, and we can still get you registered in May. So I hate to be real gray area on the specifics of orientation, but I know my colleagues are working hard to provide those answers now, and you'll have announcements for all WMU students as well as honors students within the next week or so for what summer orientation is going to look like. When do we register and how, since we're able to register early? So first of all, when we talk about honors first and when we talk about summer orientation, I want to make it very clear that at no point is somebody going to be like, hey, go register, right? Like, hey, go cut loose, go do your thing. All the registration, whether it's through honors first or whether it's through the summer orientation program, all of that registration is done in conjunction with your academic advisors for your major in your academic college. And so you're going to work with people either at Honors First, where it'll be a one-on-one setting, or at summer orientation, where it may look a little bit differently this year for orientation, but you're working with academic advisors the whole time. So nobody's going to make you do any guesswork or wonder what transfers in or anything like that. In fact, a lot of the information that we're going to collect from you, both for the Honors First sign-up survey, but also for summer orientation survey, I bet you they're going to base their process off of us, because one of the things we ask you as part of Honors First is, what have you taken so far? What AP credit have you taken? What IB credit do you have? Have you taken dual enrollment at a community college? Are you an early middle college student? And so we get all this information from you before you ever show up for orientation or for registration. So for the question about how do we register early, all that is part of the orientation and onboarding process. You'll never have to worry about what to take. We teach you all of that as advisors. That's one of the more fun parts of our job, is working with you all, letting you get familiar with your programs and know what to take from semester to semester. Schmitty asked about AP Calculus BC. What score do you need to take on the AP test, and what did it look like to get out some math scores? So actually, every bit of that information is about every bit of that information is on the registrar's website. And so I can tell you specifically about your courses, but your specific question. But again, this is all located online. The easiest way to find this information is if you just Google wmich.edu and then AP credit, and it'll come right up. For Calculus BC, you need to earn a 3 to a 5, and that will give you 8 credits of math. So there goes for you, Schmitty. I'll take care of your Calc 1 and Calc 2 if you're in BC. AP Calculus BC, it'll take care of your Calc 1 and Calc 2 with Western, as long as you get a 3 to a 5 on that. But again, anybody else out there with IB, AP, or dual enrollment questions, the easiest place to do that is to put wmich.edu in a Google search bar, and then add that key question or that key part, AP or IB credit, and the full list will come up. It'll tell you what the exam name is, the required score, what the credit gets you at WMU, as well as the number of hours that you've gone. I'm sorry, the number of hours that you'll earn for college credit. Isabel just asked about Honors First registration. Isabel, I cannot stress to you enough that you should do it. I am biased. I helped start this program 5 years ago, 6 years ago. But somebody in my office, Katie Fox, who's a brilliant colleague of mine, has taken that over for this year. So she's the one that emailed you today to try to get you to register for and sign up for Honors First. But it is the only way that you will be able to register for classes before other incoming students. So if you got that email today, please follow up, sign up for the program, and you'll work with your advisors in your academic college in May to register for classes early. For the rest of your time at Western, you're always going to register the first day of any undergraduate as long as you're in the Honors College. We get first day registration, but for your first year, we really want you to go through Honors First. It gives us a much better opportunity as advisors, as student service professionals, to get to know you on a more individual level and make sure we put you in a really good position for success for that first semester of classes. I got another anonymous one here. What are the credit and class requirements for the LEC? Great question. For credit questions, every single first-year student is required to complete 18 honors college credits. That's credit hours, not 18 courses. So 18 credit hours throughout your entire time at WMU. Some of you are going to get all those done your first year, believe it or not, because you'll be put in a cohort in engineering or one of our other partners on campus, and you'll just get a lot of honors credit done. Some of my friends that are in the fine arts, it takes them a little bit longer because they take their honors credits typically junior, senior year, just because of the way the program is structured. Arts and sciences, pre-health, you'll probably knock them out your whole first year. So I don't want you as an individual student to be worried about the speed with which you accomplish those 18 credits. Just know that 18 credits is a relatively light touch. That's less than 1/6 of the credits required for your degree at WMU. So it's not a whole lot. We do fit in with the entire Western Essential Studies, which is our new general education program that starts this fall. We fit in completely with that. So most of you, your honors credits look like, okay, I'm going to take 4 that are required for my major, and I'm going to opt for a smaller honors section. And then I've got these, 2 gen eds, and I've liked my honors section so far. So I'm going to go take my general education, my Western Essential Studies courses as honors, because again, smaller class size, really engaged instructors, all students are there for the right reasons. It's just a better it's just a better learning environment. And so, so that's what your credit requirement looks like for us. Of those 18 credits, you choose 16 of how they look, right? So you pick, a couple 4-credit math courses, chemistry courses, that kind of thing. But 2 of those credits are specific to research, and that's to help you start your project and help you finish your project. Some of your programs have overlap with those 2 courses because your program requires you to take a course that teaches you how to do that project better than we can. And so we respect that, and we'll never ask you to do the same thing twice, right? Just for credit reasons. So, so again, 18 total credits, 2 are research. Some of those research courses are built into your program already. The other 16 credits you pick. Alyssa, this is a fun one. Alyssa has questions about the Walt Disney program, as it's colloquially known. Yes, so the Walt Disney course is part of our Study in the States program. So I'll talk to you a little bit about that. Stay in the States is the best thing we do. I don't want to oversell it too much, but it is the best thing that we do. I've had the opportunity to participate in, I believe, 8 or 9 Stay in the States courses over the last 7 years. I get to participate in the Walt Disney course, which is called Walt's Pilgrimage. I get to participate in that every year, and I have participated in that every year since it started, I believe, 5 years ago. And Walt Disney, it was a course written by Dr. Christopher Tremblay. He's an Honors College alum. He did his honors thesis project on Disney. He's written 3 books called Walt's Pilgrimage or similar in the past couple of years. And what he does is he takes students through our Stay in the States program and goes for a 10-day pilgrimage across all the significant spots in America that were important to Walt's life. It's about Walt. It's not necessarily about the Disney Corporation, but it's how I got started, how Walt grew up, what he was like as a boy. You go to his hometown, you go to his birth home, you stand in the room that he was born in Chicago. You travel out to California, you get to learn about the business he built, how many times he went bankrupt and had his older brother bail him out with the business smarts that Walt was giving up for all that creativity he was bringing to the table. and you're asking about how you qualify for that. All students are eligible to participate on Study in the States. We typically do 4 to 5 of these courses a year, and they take place either during spring break, so during your week of vacation during the spring semester, or over summer 1 or summer 2 semesters. So that is, again, I think it's the best thing we do. We've done courses on gaming. That was one of my favorites growing up with video games. We went to Pittsburgh and then to Silicon Valley over the course of 10 days and got to meet with video game developers, education institutions that are specializing in this field, as well as graduate programs for students at Western who wanted to go and pursue game design or go with graphic design or computer science and enter into those fields. I'm a little bit biased because that was a lot of fun for me to participate in that course for 2 years. But we've done business ones that go to Texas, go to 3 main cities in Texas and meet only with Hayworth College of Business alums. It's a really unique opportunity to network. We've gone to New York to study garbage, believe it or not, over in this hot summer in July. We went to New York and got to understand how we throw much stuff away as people and what we do with it and where that stuff goes. So again, Stay in the States, it rotates a little bit every year. Walt's Pilgrimage is our longest running course, consecutive years, but those change all the time, and you can go as a first year or as a senior. Everybody has an opportunity to apply for those courses. We announce them every fall, so you'll be able to apply for that. Hope that helps. Our honors class is separate from regular. Yes, you won't be. Again, we don't do the honors by contract stuff where you just get more work piled on you. We want you in a room, and this is very honest. I was just talking to some faculty about this. We had a workshop over the winter break about what makes honors students or what makes honors classes, better, right? And we, instead of just assuming we know the answers from talking to students, we went and asked faculty, and they all agreed, right? The ones that teach our classes, y'all are the vast majority of the reason why they're better. It's because you've got all the students in there. They're there for the right reasons. Nobody's trying to get the class off track. You're there to do well, right? And to learn and be part of that community, support each other. There's not this competition in those classrooms. Everybody's there to help, and everybody wants to be successful. So you do take honors classes separately from everybody else, and then and so you won't be in those mixed class settings. Alyssa asked, what would be the best honors class to take as a first year? That would be very dependent on your major. If you're in engineering, I want you in honors chemistry, or in pre-health, I want you in honors biology. But there's a couple classes, I'll toss out a couple fun ones. Some of the stuff we're just gonna say, hey, you need to take an English course, you need to learn college level writing, that's required for you. Here's a special honor section where we hope you'll get a little bit more out of it. But for some of the stuff you may be able to pick, one of the more popular courses over the past couple of years has been Politics of Genocide. Dr. Tom Kostreva teaches this course for us. Dr. Kostreva is incredible. I believe, I've never confirmed this, but I believe I've been told he's walked across 4 continents himself. He speaks several different languages, and he really just explores the politics of genocidal effects across the globe and what that looks like, both in the historical record but in modern day times. It's a very, very popular course. We also have a trilogy of courses called, see if I get them in order, Blues and the Harlem Renaissance, Civil Rights and Jazz, and Vietnam and Rock, right? So what these courses do is they take a significant time period in our development as a country, and look at that through the lens of an art form, right? So, sometimes these are music, sometimes these are theater, but these courses look through that decade through the lens of art and how you can see the politics, sociology, political science, race relations, gender relations, all emerge right through that art form. So those are some fun classes I keep on your radar for your first year. All those count for Western and Central Studies for your general education program. So all that stuff will double count. It's not extra credit, it's stuff you already have to take. So Alyssa, again, be very specific to your major, what course I would recommend, but there's a couple fun ones for you to look out for if you want to knock out some of the general credit early. Ryan asks, is 15 credits required all the time, or will the standard 12 work? Asking you to do sports and double major. Yeah, great question. So athletics, you will want to listen to your coaches on that. Some of you have a busy fall season, a lighter spring season, or vice versa. So oftentimes they'll give you direction specific to it. What I can tell you is that at 15 credits, you will do better academically than if you're at 14 or at 16. And I've seen that data myself. I worked on the research team a couple years ago that looked at this, how academically y'all do at different credit levels, especially as first-year students, and you'll do better at 15. If you're talking about athletics being being one of the D1 sports that Western offers, I think maybe once a year, one of our student athletes may get into academic warning with us, if that. You'll get a lot of academic support up there. You're required to do study tables. Student athletes do really well with the Honors College, so I wouldn't worry about that as much. Plus, if you're at 15 credits, there's the financial incentive for flat rate. So if you don't know what flat rate tuition is, you pay the same amount from 12 to 15 credits. So there is a financial incentive to get to 15. But again, as the academic person, and frankly, somebody who's not paying for your college, I'm more worried about your academic performance. I know you do better at 15. Anonymous asked about this whole thesis paper thing. Do you have to write a thesis by the time you graduate from college? Yes, absolutely. But I want you to think differently about what that thesis looks like, right? So the thesis should be the most significant argument that you make to the world that you did what was necessary in college to take that next step, to start pursuing your goals. So your thesis is something you never do alone. We're supported by us first to get you started on a project, to find an idea, find a faculty member, and then you're mentored by that faculty member the entire time you're working on the project. So it really needs to be dependent on your major. A physics thesis should not look like a psychology thesis, and vice versa, right? And so, philosophers, they're going to write and read a whole lot while they're here. Biology students, we want you in a lab and producing a robust undergraduate research lab report, right, to show what you're able to do if you're applying for grad schools or med schools right away. So we give you lots of information about your thesis your first year. Nobody starts working on their thesis their first year, but we give you lots of information to help start that process early, because we know you have a better chance of completing that work if you start a little bit early. But yes, you have to complete it. Yes, you get published. All of you will graduate with a specific URL. We have over 2,000 theses that are published online right now. One of them, an education thesis, has been downloaded close to 500,000 times. We've got another couple students who produced a medical device a couple years ago. They won hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash prize money, scholarships to go on to graduate school due to their honors thesis. So, I mean, think outside the box. A couple students here, a couple years ago, created an app, right, for the Honors College. And so lots of different ways this looks. We've got beautiful documentaries out there, marketing plans for people going into business, more lab work for chemistry and biology students if they want, public health and social equity, research that goes on in sociology and social work and a couple of other departments. Just know that your thesis needs to represent you, right? And when you think of thesis, you want, okay, what can I show an employer or show a grad school committee right after graduation to show that you're ready to take that next step? And you want to say, this is what I'm capable of. You want to slide it across the table at the end of the job interview and says, this is what makes me more prepared than the next person to come in the door. It is your argument to the world, and something that we want you to build off of, either for your career right away or through grad school later, right? Start that project now that you would like to pursue in research for your graduate degree. Deadline for rooming in the honors community. So you want to go ahead and sign up to get into the honors system, get into the housing system now, because that gives you an earlier date to pick your room. But I think all the picking starts in third week of May. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's third week of May. So go ahead and go to wmich.edu/reslife. Make sure you're signed up and you have a date to pick your room, and that way you can start talking to potential roommates and figuring out who you want to live with. Yes, somebody asked about res halls. Are you allowed to pick your res halls? Yes, and you do that again in May, but you want to go ahead and get signed up in that process now so you can start doing that roommate shopping and trying to figure out what environment you want to live in. This person also asked, is there a computer lab for things for people and things like engineering? Yeah, so that's one of the main reasons I want you to strongly consider a living learning community. One of the features of the engineering living learning community, the engineering house, as you'll often hear it called, is that have a special computer lab in the building with the software programs that y'all need to do your work. And so, yeah, for sure, that's, if you're an engineering student, I cannot stress enough, you need to give the living learning community engineering a hard look because of the support resources. They have an award-winning STEP program, which helps you with tutoring and mentorship and stuff to help you start really well in engineering college. That program has been around for a long time. So yes, there are special supports like computer labs and the necessary software that you would need, but me as a social scientist would not know what to do with, in your res hall as engineer. So please consider those. Do you know if first years can live in fine arts, and specifically the honors section? I am very sorry. Res Life is not my area of expertise. I came to Western as a non-traditional student. And so my wife and I pursued our degrees together for our 4-year, and I never lived on campus. I always lived right off campus. So I can't remember that. Again, I'm just gonna have to refer you to that Res Life website, because you can go ahead now, sign up for the process, get your date to pick, and then that way it'll let you start exploring some of those options. How do we know what classes we need to register for? Thanks, Jacob. In case you missed this one earlier, you're good to go. Don't worry about that. Make sure you're signed up either through Honors First for May or for summer orientation. Advisors work with you through both programs to make sure that you're in exactly what you need to be for the whole time, for your whole first semester, right? So don't worry about that. We will sit with you and register you, be it virtually or be it in person this summer. But don't worry about that. We'll make sure you're in the right classes. Typically what that looks like is when you actually show up for registration, we've already picked a couple for you that we know you have to have. And then we help you customize that schedule, to round out the credits. How does ALEKS math placement affect math courses? So ALEKS is the new online math placement test. You'll need to complete that before attending orientation. Once you're done with the ALEKS math placement test, it gives you a recommendation for what math course you should start with at WMU. And so go ahead and sign up for ALEKS online. It's in the Honors First email that a lot of you got today. It's also off the summer orientation website to make sure you have that ALEKS test done before you show up to campus. So yeah, that's going to provide you with recommendations on what math courses you should start out, and that way that gives you a starting point for the conversation with your academic advisor. And now, O'Neill, there is a GPA requirement to maintain. Yes. So you need to maintain a 3.5 cumulative GPA throughout your time at WMU in order to graduate from the Honors College. Great question. Importantly about that, though, maybe not you, but one of your friends probably, they will have a bad semester, right? Life is not going to stop just because you decide to go to school. And so, grandma's going to get sick. You're going to get sick. If nobody's told you yet, you will be broken up with in college. If you're like me, you may get broken up with a lot in college, and that's okay, right? Some of us have a longer curve than the others. But the deal is that our goal is to support you as a Bronco first and an honors student second. So yes, you have to maintain a 3.5, but remember that's a cumulative GPA. We'll never look at your term or make any decisions based off a single semester GPA. And it takes 3 consecutive semesters of a falling cumulative GPA below a 3.5 to be eligible for dismissal. So if you're starting with us in the fall of 20, the very earliest you could be dismissed for academics is at the beginning of your spring 22 term, right? Before you come back to classes that 4th semester. So we try to work with you. We want to connect you to support resources. We want to help you return to success in the classroom, not just kick you out because you dropped below 3.5. And a lot of you, let's be honest, are going to change your major. I know most of you don't think you will, but the data says otherwise, right? A lot of you, 1/5 of you, 1/4 of you may change your major after your first year, after your first 3 semesters. And we factor that stuff in. Like, why will we punish you academically for being an honors student if you're just in the wrong program and all of a sudden you switch to another program and you do really well? We can be patient as you creep back up to the 3.5 and above. So thanks for asking that. Yes, there is a GPA requirement to maintain honor status, but know that we work with you on this stuff and that we want to see you be successful. When do we have to decide if you want to do honors? Technically, the answer is, and this is from Samuel, technically we need you to decide before the fall semester starts, but I don't want you to wait that long. The biggest advantage to being in the Honors College, especially your first year, is to get into those small class sizes. So we really want you to opt to join the Honors College prior to registering for classes, okay? So to sign up for the Honors First registration program, you have to have already accepted your honors college invitations. It's priority registration only exists for honors students. So you have to do that anyway. But if you're if you didn't participate in the medallion competition, you're not eligible for honors first program, that's fine. We still want you to join the honors college before participating in your summer orientation program, because that will allow us to tell your academic college advisors, hey, they're honors, make sure you try to get them into some of our smaller honors sections. And we know this can put you in a good position for success. Alana, you just asked about taking the ALEKS placement. Yes, before signing up for honors first, but all that stuff is in the email you should have gotten earlier today about that. It has a link to take ALEKS and a link to sign up for honors first. Alexis, good question. Do community college credits transfer towards those 18 credits at all? So again, she's referring to the 18 college credits that you have to earn as an honors college student before graduation. Yeah, they do actually. So if you transfer in, and this includes transfer credits, community college credits, dual enrollment credits, AP or IB. So all of those things together, if you earn more than 26 college credits before starting at Western, we prorate your requirement down to 15 before graduation. If you come in with 40 credits, we prorate you down to 12 honors credits before graduation. And if you come in with 56 or more, so you're coming in with junior status, we're going to prorate you from 18 to 9 honors credits. And so we prorate that according to the total number of credits you have, and you can combine any of those things, you know, community college classes, AP, advanced placement, or international baccalaureate work. All that stuff will get piled into the same bucket, and we prorate those 18 credits accordingly. So, good question. What do honors classes for aviation flight science look like? So we offer, well, first of all, you get credit for all that flight time you do. So you actually come in, Miranda, with 8 out of your 18 honors credits done if you're going to earn your personal pilot's license while you're doing your aviation flight science major, which most students do. So those are actually completely built into your program. Other than that, you'll take several smaller general education, Western and Central Studies courses, as well as some of your management and business operations. Even flight science takes a little bit of those. And then if you double major with management operations, which a lot of aviation students do, you'll see lots of opportunities to take smaller business courses that are honor sections. And so that's typically what they look like. Again, you get half of your stuff done just by doing that flight time during that first couple of years on campus. See, Tessa, dorm rooms, engineering honors dorms, parking availability, appliances are allowed. Tessa, love the question. I am not going to step that far out of my depth and go into my res life folks territory. Again, as I shared a couple minutes ago, I never lived on campus as an undergraduate student, and so I'll leave and defer those questions to my res life colleagues. Natalie, are there honors courses for film? Yes. One of our most popular honors courses in each fall and spring semester are film classes. These are actually held in the building. And so if you've been to our building before, we have a large lounge that holds a little over 100 people. That actually has a big screen that will come down right beside the fireplace, and we'll screen films in there all the time for programming, but also we have a film class that meets every Tuesday night. In the fall semesters, that film class is, gosh, put me on the spot now. I think it's international films, Honors 4101. And so what that looks like is what films look like across the globe and in different genres. And then in the spring, it's a rotating film class. And so one time, this last spring, it was on book adaptations. Before that, there's one on Chinese film, another one on French film. And so the spring semester, if you want to take that course, it's a little bit more of a deeper dive into a specific genre, whereas the fall course is Introduction to World Cinema. I remembered it. Yeah, so Introduction to World Cinema. So again, you get a broad swath. So yes, we do offer a good bit of programming and a good bit of classes that center around film. Kayla, I hope I answered your question about the early credits, AP, dual enrollment, and how that gets prorated down. David plans on attending College of Aviation and want to do ROTCs. Worried about time commitment. Yeah, I get it. No worries. I would not be too concerned about time commitment. If I can, let me just go through the your requirements real quick. So you're going to earn 18 credits, right, before graduation. That's very doable, no matter what your program is. Again, you're talking about aviation, David. You're going to get half of those done by your flight time. So, so 18 credits is not a big deal as long as you plan and work with advisors. Not a concern. In addition to that, you have to do 4 events your first year and 2 events your second year, and then that stops junior and senior year. You don't have an event requirement. An event counts as typically 45 to 50 minutes worth of programming that either we put on as staff, or we reach out to our faculty colleagues or staff from other departments, guest speakers from the community leaders come in, alums, that kind of thing. You swipe in with your ID, again, for your first year to your second year, and that drops off. You have to do 20 hours a year of community service. David's asking, he's going to be in ROTC. Army's going to do plenty of service required anyway, so you don't have an option. And then you just submit those hours to us to double count for that service requirement. So again, not worried about service either. The undergraduate research piece really falls in the sophomore, junior, and starting into your senior year. Again, that builds in with any program. So, David, of the 4 things I just listed, the only thing you really need to plan for is those courses. But again, you've got some stuff that's going to double count. And then the community service, every college student can fall into 20 community service hours just by walking across campus, right, and joining a bake sale. So I'm not worried about that. I worry about y'all submitting your paperwork back to us so we can get you taken care of for the requirement piece. So, David, I know it's a long way to answer. I'm not worried about your time commitment necessarily. It's not a bad. It's a great combination. Thank you for your service. My wife's Army, so appreciate that. But I won't be worried about the time commitment doing honors as well. We work really well with both aviation and the ROTC department. Somebody asked about flat rate. Flat rate is tuition. So flat rate means you're paying the same amount of flat rate or same amount of tuition for 12 to 15 credit hours of classes. Flat rate is set. The actual price for flat rate is set typically at the June or July Board of Trustees meeting. You can go on to the registrar's website now and click tuition and fees. You can see what flat rate was for this year, but they set that for the next year at the summer board meeting. So again, flat rate, 12 to 15 credits, you're paying the same price. It gives you the financial incentive to go over to get close to 15. And then also gives you, again, academically, like I was talking about earlier, you do better that way either. Do better that way anyway. Anaya has another question about tutoring services. So we do a good bit. So all the tutoring services that we'll connect you with are free at Western's campus. If you choose to opt for a private tutor, we can help you find some, but that's typically not necessary. Western offers a tremendous amount of in the classroom support as well as outside the classroom support. One thing that I do enjoy doing, though, just to be specific to what Honors College can do, is often somebody will email me and say, hey, I'm taking this econ class. I feel like I get it, but I can't quite get the prof figured out or the testing strategy figured out to be successful. And so a lot of times we'll just send emails to students who did really well in that course before and then offer that honor student volunteer time to help you with some test strategies and things like that. If I can talk real briefly about just general student support, and it's hard for me to say this to you without reading your faces, but statistically, and based off of all of my experience working with honor students over the past several years, y'all are the worst about asking for help. Worst. Y'all usually don't ask for help until it's sometimes beyond help, right? It's, so just know that we want to have success conversations, not salvage conversations, right? Like we don't want to try to rescue from an experience. We want to start having these conversations the first couple of weeks of a course, so you don't get to that point later. So start with things like supplemental instruction. Supplemental instruction are for some of our higher concern courses. You'll have a undergraduate student, or maybe 2 or 3 of them, embedded into the course with you. They attend the lectures, they attend labs if applicable, and then they hold supplementary instruction sessions after class at different times throughout the week to help you, get over the tougher concepts within the classroom. So supplemental instruction has been around since I was an undergrad at Western. They have well over 10, maybe 15 years of data at this point that show that students who use supplemental instruction earn a full letter grade higher on average than those that don't. And so again, talk about one of the things you're probably going to have to hear me say a lot. This is one of them. I want you to start with those support resources, even as an honor student. And then by midterms, if you can come back and say, hey, Anthony, I did all the supplemental instruction. I went to Tutor Labs. I went to the Writing Center. I've got a perfect 4.0 GPA at midterms. It has nothing to do with any of those support resources. Cool. Stop going, right? They're going to exist whether you show up or not, because we want to support our students at Western. But as an honor student, I want you to start with those first, and then scale back as you see fit and as your grades see fit. So hope that helps. Where can you find those theses online? Great question. Anywhere on our website. So if you go to anywhere on our website and go to which is wmich.edu/honors. You're going to be able to go to that website. You're going to be able to scroll all the way to on the very main page. There's 4 different icons right there that have some points of pride. One of those is for how many theses have been downloaded. If you click that link, it will open you up to our online repository where you'll find over 2,000 theses, I believe, dating back to the 1960s. So again, our website, wmich.edu/honors. Scroll down past the pictures, and then you're going to see 4 different icons. I believe the furthest one to your left is about the honors thesis. Click that, and that will open you up into the ScholarWorks database, and you can start searching those. If you want to go check that out, I do recommend that you search by keyword. So when you open the ScholarWorks platform up, there's a search bar that is really, really good. So just put in whatever keywords, major, academic college, that kind of thing, and it'll help refine those searches for you. Because again, there's over 2,000 in there, so you want to try to make the best of your time. Can I apply to honors immediately after my application is accepted? Am I too late for this honor system? No, absolutely not. You are more than welcome to join the Honors College. We actually will reach out to you if you're automatically eligible after your Western processes your application. If you're eligible, we'll reach out to you, but we also have an application on our website, wmich.edu/honors, all the time, and we do rolling admissions throughout the year. But ideally, we want you in before you register for classes. That's the key part about honors, is to making sure you get into those honors classes. And so we want for us to be on your radar, and you to be on our radar by the time you show up to meet with an advisor and register for classes. So anonymous, you are not too late. Anaya asked about the quiet time in the other res halls. I'm going to say midnight. Hope that's accurate. If not, hopefully my colleague from admissions that's helping me with this can correct me on that one, but I believe it's midnight, and the honors rest halls, it's 10. How do you suggest making connections with potential roommates? Great question. So we do a couple things at Western to help support that conversation. My good colleague from admissions says it can vary by residence hall. So don't take my word for it that it's midnight. You can take my word for it that it's 10 in the honors rest halls. Sarah wants to know how to make connections with potential roommates. When you sign up for our registration for res hall process, one of the things you'll do is you're going to take a little bit of a personality assessment that looks at your habits. Are you an early riser? Do you stay up late? You're a night owl? Are you messy? Are you neat? Do you talk on the phone a lot? Do you like to text, right? So they're going to ask you some basic habits, and then they're going to give you some suggestions of who the system thinks you would pair up nicely with. And you'll have a whole list of students that you can kind of start scrolling through. So Sarah, I would start with that and see what they say, see what the results tell you. Then do some healthy, right, Instagram stalking and Facebook stalking, and try to figure out what their online presence is like. Those are also nice platforms. You can reach out to them that way and just say, hey, we are a potential match at Western. Do you have a chance to set up a video chat or a phone call, or at least start texting each other, get to know each other a little bit better. So that's the first step, is to actually go through the sign-up process, figure out what those results look like, let Western tell you what it looks like you'll pair up nicely with as far as personalities. And again, habits is a big thing. When you live with somebody, if anybody lives with their siblings right now, maybe even in the same room, you'll understand this better than the rest. But habits is sometimes more important than just about anything else when you're picking roommates. So Sarah, start with the suggestions, start connecting via social media once you get those responses back. And you have, I think it's at least a month, or right at a month, to really start get to know who you might pair with before having to make that decision. Seth, I hope that's the same, kind of answer for you as far as meeting roommates, what resources are available. All that is through the ResLife sign-up system. So once you sign up for that, you'll be able to see who you match up with from a habit perspective and move forward. Who else? Yep, somebody's asking about Alex and HIF SAT. I am going to, I can check on that for you. Let me check on that for you while I'm answering some of these other questions and see if I can get back to you. In simple terms, Max, what is the difference between being in the Honors College and not being in it? Well, some people say it's whether you're cool or not, but let me try to give you something a little bit more in depth than that. I really think that it has something to do with the level of engagement and what you want to do on campus and what you're trying to get out of this as a graduate. Again, y'all are all sharp, right? And I work with students that are a heck of a lot smarter than me all the time. But I can tell you that honors students in general, just across the board, are more engaged. They're involved in more organizations. They take on more leadership opportunities. They're looking for learning outside the classroom, not just being good at grades inside the classroom. So we want to go ahead and that's the value proposition, right? Is that we can see as honors graduates that you are more prepared, you're more successful, you're twice as likely to go to grad school right away. You're always got a higher percentage of being placed within your field if you go straight to a job afterwards. We beat Western as a whole in all those metrics of how you look as a graduate. But more importantly, again, I think it's that growth process that we offer. We try to shrink down a 24,000 D1 Carnegie level research institution with world-class fine arts programs, right? With all this opportunity that we have, tremendous undergraduate research, and we're able to take that big experience and distill it down into a small liberal arts style feel, right? Again, we have well over 20,000 students at Western, and we have typically around 1,700 in the Honors College, so it's a lot smaller. What if I join the Honors College and find it's not right for me? Well, first come talk to me before you make that decision so we can chat. I'll never pressure you to stay. You can withdraw from the Honors College. You don't sign a blood oath or anything that you're committing to us for life. But come talk to me first, because I just want to make sure that you have all the best information available before you make decisions like that. And maybe you just haven't been connected to the right group within the Honors College. Maybe you should join one of our student groups or get a better relationship with one of our mentors or talk to one of our advising staff that would love to make that personal connection with you and really support and be your coach as you go through college life. So, but yes, you can leave if you choose to do so. Let's see. I think my colleague Jacob is saying we're running a little bit tight for this. Let me ask him if we can have another 30 minutes. Yep, for sure. Okay, so we're gonna go for another 30 minutes. So right now is 5:56 according to my clock, and so we'll go for a little bit more than another 30 minutes. All right, so where are we at? Alex placement test. Again, I'm gonna have to check on the stuff for you. I'm gonna hop to Jorge. Daughter is joining WMU this fall. Great decision. Glad you raised a smart daughter. She's also listening. How many first years joined the honors group, and how many of these are part of the aviation college where she plans to attend? Okay, so typically we have between 450 and 500 first-year students. So that's about how many we expect to bring in this fall, maybe a little bit higher than that. This fall, a little over 500, maybe 550. Typically about, I think it's 8 or 9% of those are aviation students. And so that's pretty fair representation of the college as a whole at Western. So aviation is by no means a smaller proportion than the institution as a whole. So 9% of those, you're talking at least 30, 40, close to 50 different other aviation students in the college. So, for all of you that are concerned about major specific questions as far as, does musical theater work with honors, or just chemical engineering work with honors, dance or aviation, it does. It works well. And we don't have a population that we consider small in the honors college. So there is a fair representation across every single major and minor program on campus. Sophia, how are honors credits applied for dance majors? Yeah, good question. So a couple things, and this is in general for BFA students, for all of our friends that are doing Bachelor of Fine Arts. So you're going to be able to count some of your performance credits as honors. That's called field experience. Same thing as if you were doing a internship in the business college or anything like that. So we give you credit for that for the dance program performance credit. And then we're going to be able to offer you smaller class sizes of some of the general education coursework, as well as I believe music theory as well. We offer a couple of music theory courses as honor sections. So again, some of that's going to be experiential learning, and other things are going to be, again, the classes that all Western students have to take at some point that you can opt for a smaller honor section of. But key point for you, Sophia, is you do get credit for a lot of that performance stuff that you're going to work really hard on. And the best thing I can ever do to make my wife very happy, who's also a Western alum, is to take her to your dance concerts in the winter and the spring. So we look forward to seeing you there. How are study abroad programs paid for? Good question, Miranda. You can apply for study abroad funding as an honor student through us. We give out $50,000 a year every year in study abroad and research funding. But you also get to apply with the Heineke Institute for Global Education. That's who houses study abroad. They have scholarships. Your academic college, so College of Business, College of Arts and Sciences, College of Ed, all of them have a study abroad funding that you can apply for too. And sometimes your departmental scholarships, your academic department has scholarships that you can apply for study abroad. So all of these things are going to be due the semester before you want to study abroad. So this is all part of the sign-up process. We give you all this information. We recruit you to sign up for honors study abroad opportunities so you can apply for funding from us. So this won't be hidden from you. When you go and meet for the very first time with the with the study abroad counselor, is they actually show you a printout and show you online based off of your student profile, all the different areas that you can apply for funding from. So in addition to that, you can get outside scholarships to pay for this stuff too. One of the things I do is I advise our chapter of Alpha Lambda Delta, which is a first-year honor society. We have one of the best chapters in the country at Western, and there's about 300 of us nationwide as far as chapters goes. I actually sit on the board, and so one of the things I did this year was review several hundred scholarships for ALD to pay for study abroad. So again, lots of opportunities, and we make sure you're aware of all these right at the very beginning when you start making the study abroad decision process. Graphics honors, Sam, I'm assuming you're talking about graphic design. If that's the case, then your senior project, your senior portfolio double counts for us. We do offer engineering graphics if that's what you're talking about, but that is an honors lab, so it's only one credit that kind of pulls you out into a smaller section, but we do offer that section too in engineering. So if it's graphic design, just remember that thesis project double counts with your capstone experience in that program. If you're asking about engineering graphics, we do offer that for first-year students to take a smaller honors section. What do honors courses for criminal justice look like? Stephanie, going after my heart here. So I am a doctoral student in sociology right now, so I get to take classes with all the CJ professors. Love them. It's a great program. One of the things if I can just highlight for criminal justice in general is that we have one of our faculty members that runs this program similar to wrongful conviction, the wrongful conviction program. And so they actually look at cases, help turn things over on DNA or process inaccuracies. So that's a very popular thing that our students do. That gets you honors credit when you do programs like that. We also offer sections of your data collection and research methods sections as a sociology student in criminal justice. Some lower level stuff too, sociology, intro to soc, that kind of thing. But for you, I think the cooler opportunities for honor students in CJ is actually what you can do with that information. I'm trying to build a relationship with Kalamazoo Department of Public Safety right now to help get a internship program back for our CJ students to start working in the crime labs and doing some forensics and things like that. So I think the biggest gift that honors education can give you in criminal justice is there's outside the classroom opportunities and connections, but also wrongful conviction. The Kircher Center for Social Research does a lot of surveying and things like that. You can work there and get paid research experience there. That stuff's going to carry you a long way with criminal justice. Let's see. Is it manageable to work while doing honors? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, most, I wouldn't say most Western students work their first year, but a lot of Western students work their first year. The biggest thing I really want to push for you when it comes to working, and I deal with this every day working with students, is that if at all possible, work on campus. I know that seems self-explanatory, but sometimes you may be able to make more money off campus, have what appears to be a more flexible work schedule off campus. But just remember, if you're working on campus, you're a student first. If you're working off campus, you're an employee first. And so, no matter what that employer tells you they'll do with your schedule or be accommodating during midterms or final exams or anything else, their job is to run that business, not to support your education. So again, a lot of our students work. I'm not worried necessarily about you working and being a college student. I work throughout college, but I am worried, especially that first year. Try to get a job on campus, and so that way it will be able to support you as a student first, and again, not as an employee first. Do your service hours have to be on campus? No. We strongly encourage you to serve your Kalamazoo community, because we want you to be here for 4 years. And we want you to be an engaged citizen for 4 years. But no, these do not have to be on campus. Most of them, just by nature, are off campus. They may be through student groups, but they're conducted off campus and in the community. So yeah, we'll support you in that. Do you know of any clubs, organizations for pre-med? But yes, for sure. Pre-med, as well as just kind of drill science clubs. There is a pre-med student association, which you should get involved with your first year. That would be really helpful. Other bio ones, we have everything. When I first got to the college, I remember I was strongly encouraged to join the squirrel feeding club. That's related to biological sciences. They do some behavioral stuff with the squirrels on campus. I declined. I don't have anything against squirrels. I just didn't want the responsibility of putting peanuts out every afternoon. I get too sidetracked for that kind of responsibility. And plus, our squirrels are really well fed. They're the size of cats. So Zoom meetings, Anaya, will there be another one? If my colleagues in admissions let me come back, I will be back. I'd be happy to do these anytime. I like connecting with y'all in this format. I do a lot of this stuff, a lot of Zoom things through another organization for students. And so, yes, absolutely, be happy to help. Anonymous, when are classes registered? At Honors First or summer orientation? This can be very confusing, so I get why you're concerned. If you participate in Honors First, that is class registration. So just think of Honors First and class registration as being completely synonymous with each other. If you aren't going to Honors First through May, if you did not attend the medallion competition and you need to register through summer orientation, you will register through that summer orientation programming. So again, I understand how that can be confusing. Can you explain more about the 4 and 2 events that we're required to do? What's the difference between that and volunteer hours? So volunteer is literally giving your time and labor, making the world a better place, helping out those less fortunate or those in need in our community. Events are sometimes, hopefully they're all fun, but it could be movie night. It could be, we do a prom every February. So it's LAC prom where you get to wear your prom dress again. And we donate those prom dresses to the Cinderella Project, which goes to students in the local area that can't afford their own prom dresses. We do Valentine's. Valentine's is a big one. We write Valentine's to senior citizen homes. For Veterans Day, we do some card writing and packages from home type stuff. I'm going to show up every once in a while and do a talk about how to discuss the Honors College in your job interview process, or when you're applying for graduate school. Our friends from Career Services come out and they take over the Honors College a couple times a year, and they do resume critiques and free headshots for LinkedIn or resumes. Interviewing techniques, that kind of stuff. So we always do stress relief at the end of each semester, right around final exam time. So we usually have somebody come in, do a Zumba class, video game tournament. Somebody brought in a Switch last semester, so we did a video game tournament. Lots and lots of coloring. We always underestimate how many of y'all want to color to do stress relief. And so those events, you're going to show up. There's 3 or 4 a week, right? So you'll know when these are. We send you a weekly newsletter. We have a really heavy presence in social media, especially on Instagram. And so check them out there, pick out the ones that you will find value in. You show up, you show us your Bronco ID, you swipe it in, you hang out, you do the event, and you swipe back out. So that's how you do the events. Again, you do 4 your first year, Doesn't matter if they're fall or spring or both. You do 4 events your first year, 2 events your second year, and then that event requirement stops after that. You don't have to do any more after that. Let's see. What else we have? Besides science and math, what honors classes does the Honors College offer? It's anonymous. We have over 50 honors courses a semester, every fall and every spring, so they run the gamut. This is all on the Honors College website. Excuse my messy desktop if you can see it, but this is all the courses we're offering in the fall. So I'm just going to scroll through here to show the diversity. We have accounting, we have a health and wellness course, we have race, biology, and culture. I used to teach this course for 3 years for us. I love it. Introduction to pre-health. This is just for pre-med students. We've got some biology in there. The general business course everybody has to take. Global business, chemistry, public speaking, economics, couple economics, engineering graphics. I think one of you asked about that earlier. Intro to college level writing, environment and sustainability, finance, graphic and printing sciences, Hispanic culture in the U.S., history course. Here's that politics and genocide course I talked about with Dr. K. That's very popular. Jeff Abshire, modernism and art literature, utopian dystopian fiction, the trilogy of courses, jazz, blues, and the Harlem Renaissance, intro to world cinema, another health course, human services, was that industrial engineering, math, medieval studies, business management. Okay, so you can just keep scrolling down, poli-sci, psychology, stats, lots of good stuff. So we don't just offer bios or chem courses. We offer lots of varieties that meet our students' needs. So we can come back here. Where do we find out who your academic advisors are? We will teach you that. We will show you who your academic advisors are. That's exactly who you're going to work with at orientation. For our college, we divvy up. Our advising staff is divvied up by major, and so that way that gives our professional staff the ability to get more familiar with your program, specifically your major requirements, so we can better advise you as how to accomplish that program as an honors student. So we divvy up by major. In the academic colleges, they usually divvy up by specialty. And so like health human services, they'll have a social work advisor, an occupational therapy advisor, a speech path advisor, right? So it kind of goes around. So we'll teach all that at orientation. That should be, again, I'm biased. I come from an advising background. Your advisors are your best friends, right? So you need to meet them early in orientation, start that relationship really well, and then keep in touch the whole time, because they're the ones that can really help steer you and guide you as a student to make sure that you're doing what you need to, again, both with courses, but also outside of that. Is there an honors pod in the aviation res hall? If not, yeah, so there's not an honors pod in the aviation hall. We can't quite get that population big enough to get an actual pod, and the way the Henry Hall is set up where the aviators live, it's just a little bit different. It doesn't quite facilitate that. But I will tell you that just as general advice, I'll never tell you where to live, but if I was an aviation student, I would live in the aviation res hall, aviation learning community, just because y'all do so much travel back and forth to Battle Creek. It's good to know people, good to know who has cars, do some car sharing if you don't want to take the shuttle every day. David, I'd push you to consider living in the aviation res hall. What dorm do honor students normally sit in? It used to be Ackley Schilling. It's not Ackley Schilling anymore. It's the one right by Valley Dining. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of it right now, but if you ate at Valley Dining while you visited campus, you could throw a rock and hit the honors res hall from right there. Typical class size for non-honors classes, it's really not that big at Western. There are those bigger lecture halls that the Honors College can kind of save you from for some courses, but I think average class size is close to 40, maybe a little bit less than that. Could be in the low 30s actually. So you really want to think of this stuff. If you're not taking honors sections, you want to think of this stuff as a pyramid, right? So like as you take your prereqs, those are going to be the bigger courses. As you get into your major courses, those are going to be a little bit smaller, more specific, right, to that population. And then when you get towards your capstones and your final coursework, that's really specific at that point. So those classes are just going to naturally get smaller. The advantage we have, again, is that we can pay for those smaller class sizes. We can give the instructors some extra incentives to do different kind of innovative things in their college classes. Bring in guest speakers. When I was teaching that race course I just referred to, I love that course, and I brought in a buddy of mine from KVCC to do the workshop on racial disparities in education, right? He can tell that story much better than I can. He has a different life story than I do. So why would I try to regurgitate that information if I can get somebody who's smarter and better than me to come tell the story in a more effective way? So class size is really not that big. I have convinced Alexis to join the Honors College. Will I receive all the necessary next step info, or should I call? Yeah, so let me share. So we will find you, right? When you're eligible, we'll find you. But if you ever have any questions, I'm going to give you all of our front desk number. We are working remote, right, with COVID-19, but all of us are available, throughout the business day. So I'm going to give you our phone number. You can call anytime after 8 o'clock tomorrow, and we can check on your acceptance status, your application status, whatever that may be. Our phone number is 269-387-3230. Again, 269-387-3230. Advising staff standing by all day, 8 to 5, and we can check on that stuff for you. But Alexis, welcome. Glad to have you there. Do athletes register for classes through Honors First or through their athletic advisor? Kind of both. So when you sign up for Honors First, we're going to ask you, are you an athlete? And then once you say yes, we'll ask you what sport you're going to play for us. That way we know what classes we can and can't put you in due to practice schedules. And so then we're going to let athletics and your academic college advisor know that you're coming to register through Honors First. So you'll be taken care of right away. But you will register through Honors First. But again, all that stuff will be done while we're also communicating with athletics, so they don't get surprised. Let's see. Will there be a meeting like this for medallion scholarship receivers? Medallions are placed into a small cohort, so you see a lot of each other, especially over that first year. So you're going to get all this information very specific to medallion scholars. Do you have to take a foreign language from Anonymous? If you're in the College of Arts and Sciences, yes. If you're in College of Arts and Sciences, all arts and sciences students are required to complete a foreign language. It varies by other academic colleges, but Arts and Sciences is the only one that requires you to. No matter what, if you choose to take 2 semesters of a foreign language or 2 semesters of American Sign Language, ASL, while at Western, we count that for honors credit. So you can get 4 honors credits by taking 2 foreign language sections, so of the same language. So if you do that, we can give you some honors credit for it. I can't stress you enough the importance of trying to pick up another language. I spoke conversational Spanish when I first came to Western. I've lost most of that by now, but that came through a professional connection. I learned it. When I was at Western, I studied Chinese as an undergrad, and I was able to continue those classes as a staff member, and at one point could have some pretty conversational Mandarin, but I just cannot tell you how important it is to be able to connect to others in this globalized world where they're at, and whether that you may never be fluent, right? But please consider learning another language. It teaches you how other cultures may think or formulate ideas. It'll make you so much more prepared to work with a diverse, globalized population when you're done with Western. And that's the type of stuff. That's the type of questions you need to be pondering of how can I fit these really valuable things into my college experience to make sure, again, like I said in the beginning, that you're selfishly investing in yourself to become the person you want to be, the graduate you want to be, and the eventual professional that you want to be. So no, if you're not in arts and sciences, you don't have to take a foreign language, but I think you all should. So somebody is currently undecided. I know some of y'all think I'm kidding when I say this. Now I part way am, but good. I'm kind of glad you're undecided. If you come in as undecided, we strongly encourage you to go through our exploratory program. That's where students that come in and just say, you know what, I've got no idea. I've got some talent. I kind of know where my interests are, but I don't know how to commit to a major yet. Start with exploratory. We have tons of honor students in exploratory. It does not, because you don't know what you want to do with your life for the next 40 years, does not keep you from being an honor student. We want you. We like the fact you're questioning that. So yeah, please start with exploratory. They'll help you not only do some kind of career aptitude stuff to figure out where's a good home, but also exploratory, right? They'll let you explore some different classes, different majors, while earning credit that counts towards graduation. So you're not taking wasted credits, right? So yeah, please start with exploratory. Great program. My colleagues, Rich McMullen and Deanna Walter, do a phenomenal job over there working with students. Again, exploratory and honors works really, really well together. So I'm glad you're starting there. Michelle, is marching band considered a sport? I'm not going to wade into that debate. I've heard that go left a couple times, but for the Honors College, it is. So when you're in marching band, just as if you're in one of the D1 varsity sports, you can earn up to 3 honors credits, again, out of 18. You can earn up to 3 of those by being a marching band, right? By being a marching band, you're going to be registered for a class called Music 1090. I'll give you a hint. Its title is marching band. And then once you register for that, we're actually going to pull your first 3 credits that you earn over as honors credit as well. So for sure, you get treated the same as the D1 varsity athletes when it comes to that. What if you did ASL at KVCC through dual enrollment? Will those count as honors credits? No, unfortunately they will not. They will count as total credit though. So if you earned a lot of dual enrollment credit and you're over that 26 mark, we'll start prorating your honors requirement down. So I think I'm relatively caught up here. Looks like my colleague in admissions is helping with these. Yeah, great question. Does engineering capstone project count for the honors thesis? Yes, it counts as the honors thesis. There's a couple programs that work that way. And before all of you start hating on the engineers for not having to do an honors thesis, let me tell you that their senior design projects, which is what they call a thesis in that college, their senior design projects are just as robust as the other honors theses. They spend the vast majority of their senior year under guidance from expert faculty members on a very practical problem that they're eventually going to be able to solve as a professional engineer. They defend those results in public, a defense, right? And they get published. They have a write-up and everything else. So yes, engineering capstone senior design projects do count as honors theses. And that also works that way with graphic design. Their capstone experience double counts as the thesis because they produce a really robust portfolio of the talent they can offer as a graphic designer. And then I'm trying to think of the others that may go along the same path. A lot of our fine arts students do your senior recital and exhibits and things like that as your thesis, and that's fine. You have a little bit of a write-up that you do an extra for that, but again, a lot of those programs can double count. Because again, if you're doing something that's comparable in your major, great. We're never going to ask you to do it twice just to make us feel better. Mercedes, is there additional cost for the Honors College? Yes, there's a $100 charge every fall and every spring, but I want to show you if I can again. I had this up in case y'all wanted to talk more about the cost, because we try to be very upfront about that cost. We think, I'm very confident that we do a good job of being good stewards with your money, but let me show you what that looks like. So I'm going to share my screen again. And here it is. So this is our program fee website. Every single semester, we put up exactly what we spent your money on. Okay, so all honors students pay a $100 program fee each fall and each spring. We don't charge for summer. So that means if you're in the Honors College for 4 years, 8 semesters at Western, your Honors College cost would be a total $800 over the course of that 4 years. And again, we want to be very specific and transparent with you about how we spend that money. You can see the vast majority of it goes to instructional cost. Stay in the States, that experiential learning program is another big expense for us, but again, it's the best thing we do. This is our mentor team and how we pay for our mentors to help use incoming students, and then it scales down to other programming. Even got some coffee cost in there. If you haven't heard yet, one of the biggest draws to the Honors College is that we have a full kitchen you have access to all the time, and we have free coffee, tea, and hot chocolates whenever you want to stop by. So again, this is our program fee website. You can see the URL here. It's easy to find. It's just wmich.edu/honors/fee, and you can see what we do with that money. And this was actually voted in by honors students because we spend so much money trying to buy those smaller sections that we wanted to make sure that was something we could do sustainably. And the honors students voted unanimously to bring in a fee back in 2009 to help us pay for that. So I hope that gives probably more information than you wanted, but I do like to talk about the fee, why we have it, why you need to have it in order to pay for the class sizes, but also let you know exactly how we spend that money. If you already have a private pilot's license, what we do with the 18 credits? Great question. I'm going to defer to my colleague, Katie Fox. She is brilliant. She advises all of our aviation students in the college. She's also the person who is coordinating Honors First and overseeing that process this year. So Anonymous, if you have received any Honors First related email, you can reply back to those. It'll be KD that responds to them, and she can tell you more specifically about those 18 credits and how it works with aviation students that come in with a private pilot's license. I just don't want to give you out bad information, and Katie is the expert. You can also call tomorrow, right? We'll be open again from 8 to 5. Our advisors are standing by throughout the workday, so you can call 269-387-3230, and they can tell you that question, they answer that question pretty quickly. All right, it looks like some of these questions are starting to run a little bit dry. Oh, got another one. If you'll do your presentation, will be an opportunity for us to see it. Yeah, so all of these are being posted online, so you can go back and watch these later, which is terrifying for me, but it's there. So you can watch those. I am very heavily involved in the onboarding program for orientation, so you'll hear from me again at some point, either through Honors First programming or through summer orientation. Again, we're trying to figure out those details now to best serve you as students and in light of the COVID-19. So for sure, yeah, you'll hear a lot from me. I really enjoy getting to know you, especially as first years, to make sure you transition well to college. I'll be doing similar presentations throughout your first year on campus, but again, I'll be heavily involved in the onboarding process as we work with you over the summer and going through summer orientation. All right, so unless any other questions come in, we're getting close to 6:30. Very sincerely, thanks for all this. We had 77 questions sent in, so obviously some of those were repeats, but I think I tried to get to all the individual unique questions. I really enjoyed doing this with you all. I'll absolutely be back whenever admissions wants me to come back and do another one of these. Again, I enjoy working with Zoom. I think this is a good way to show the flexibility and the ways that we can interact with each other through technology in today's day and age, not just with where we're at as a society, but obviously we're at right now with the COVID-19 outbreak. Sitting in my living room, enjoying time, with 50 plus incoming honor students was a great privilege. So thank you very much for all the good questions. We really look forward to having you in the Honors College. Please keep an eye out for more of these. Please go follow us, especially on Instagram. If you have an Instagram, we're at the Honors College on Instagram. We just broke 1,000 followers, I think about 3 or 4 months ago, so that was a big deal for us. But follow us on Instagram, connect with us on social media. If you haven't signed up for Honors First yet, go do that. If you need to go sign up for summer orientation, go do that. We really look forward to supporting your transition. Thank you very, very, very much, and I hope to talk to all of you again soon. Have a great night.